Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my video. Today's flight is going from Moscow to a country called, actually it's going somewhere in the Europe, and the airport is called Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. It's Tenerife South Airport in Spain, actually, somewhere in Europe. So we're carrying it's about 8 hours and 15 minutes flight. We're carrying about 72,000 kilograms of fuel. Let's get this beast rolling. So we hop into the cockpit. First thing we're going to do is we're going to call the ground power. In the meantime, we will fire up the aircraft, set the wheel chocks, we request the ground power, and then at the same time we'll call the vehicles: front gallery, mid gallery, aft gallery. We call the cabin ceiling, fuel trucks, pour water, maintenance and ventilator lavatory, and also would like to call forward cargo, aft cargo, and the bulk cargo. We do need stairs because we don't have any kits, so let's get the show rolling. So first thing is first, that before we turn the battery on, landing gear is down, throttles are idle, fuel cut-up switches are cut out, flaps are up, and that looks good to me. Let's fire up the battery. There we go. Battery's on. We're gonna give it a minute to breathe, avionics to kick in, then we're gonna turn on utility. We'll turn the standard power to auto. First, right after that, we'll turn the fire test. Make sure these are illuminating. This looks good. Test in progress. Absolutely. So the fire alarm is working. Fire test pass. Beautiful. Alright, let's bring the external power. There we go. So before they kick in, we have to turn on our buses. So bus generator controls, bus tie, they kick in. Hydraulic panel number 4 goes to auxiliary, engine pumps can kick in. Emergency lights can go armed. Auto start is on. Window heat can come on. Nav light and logo light, since we have the external power on, can come on. Engine blades can come on. AP bleed can come on. Two packs will go to normal. One will keep it off so we can start the engine. Streamer can come on. And we need the yaw damper zone. Right. We don't need aft cargo heat. So what we're gonna do is gonna turn on this stuff here: weather radar, data, position, and terrain. Test the oxygen. Looks good. Here we're gonna turn on data, position, terrain, and we're also gonna turn on the oxygen. Right, that's done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the FMC and put my route in here, which I've already installed. So before I do that, I just want to run my active sky. So what I do is run that active sky P3D. And the other thing the SimBrief has introduced, which is pretty awesome, is a SimBrief downloader, which is available from the SimBrief's main website. So what you do is, this is how it works. So I'm gonna show you that. So once you open that, whatever flight plan you make, so for example, I made this flight plan from uniform Delta to Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. As soon as I hit generate operational flight plan, it right away goes here in your desktop app, and then you just press export selected formats, and then it'll do your job. You don't have to manually go into your files and put that file in a respective folder. So what I've done is I've turned all on all the aircrafts I have, so it goes into every single aircraft, whatever flight plan I make, which doesn't bother me at all. So at the same time, we're gonna load. I've also loaded the active sky into the SimBrief downloader. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and find uniform Delta to, where is it? skip for a sec. So it should be here. Uniform. We can turn that and search it that way. Oh, I can't see it. That's a bummer. Why does it not show up? Oh, I know why I didn't. Because I, ladies and gentlemen, didn't press the export the flight plan button. So you have to press this button, and then it will send your flight plans inside your respective directories. So that's how it works. That's good, actually. That we've so now it shows you the one in the red. It means that couldn't find the file. The rest in the greens are all good. So that's all. Close it. Now come to your flight plan folder again and see where that. There you are. That's the one. So open it. Now that way my active sky will tell me all the weather forecast, the wind forecast in my route. So Stanford 7400 is the model. Iraq 1804, valid from March 29th to April 25th of 2018. And we have the General Electric engines. No, we have the Pratt & Whitney engines, I'm sorry. So that indication matches with the engine description on the CDU. So we are at uniform delta, which was here. And then we grab the GPS either left or right position from page 3 and bring it to page 1. For that, we have to turn on our IRSs. So left can go on, right, center one can go to the nav, and the third one can go to the nav. Now let's hop in here. And if I come into the position as initialization, this is where I want to put it. There we go. That's done. So uniform delta, and we are going to Golf Charlie Tango Sierra. That's the one. The departure runway we have for today is runway 32 left. We're not using any SIDS or stars, so I'm gonna put is 32 left. And for the arrival, which I'm gonna put just so I know how much fuel estimations I will get according to the given flight plan, but this of course can change according to the winds. So Turkey 6 Golf for runway 07 with the with actually no transition, so that's good. Activate it. The flight number we have is Tango Sierra Oscar 341. Tango Sierra Oscar 341. That can go here. Performance initialization. Zero fuel weight we have is 216.7. We can verify that from here. Payload. So we have a zero fuel weight of, actually the gross weight of 289.5, which agrees here with that, which is good. Reserves I'm gonna take is about 4. Cost index will be 45, which sounds pretty awesome to me. I'll be cruising at, giving Tony the given weight, I'll be going flight level 360. Step size, if you leave it to IKO, it'll step every 4,000 feet, which I don't want, so I'll change it to 2,000 feet. That way it'll give me 2,000 feet step sizes to stay at optimum altitude. So optimum altitude is the altitude where we got the maximum range and the least amount of fuel is consumed by the aircraft, and it increases as the aircraft gets lighter. So we'll take a D-rate 15%. We're not that heavy. And we'll take climb for our we're not doing any D-rated climb, we just do a D-rated takeoff. Assumption, I'll put a temperature of 65, so it gives us D-rated temperature takeoff at 65 degrees Celsius, and our N1 will be 89.2% during the takeoff, which sounds good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off at flaps 10. I think we should be very much fine with this. Get the CG, that sounds good. since we have done that, now we can go in here on the second CDU, press the Lex page, go into the root data, press the send request. This will give us the wind data. And to get the wind data, just make sure that when you get the PMDG flight plan, you make the PMDG flight plan and the wind uplink, which goes into your PMDG's main folder called WX. That way you get all those winds properly into your FMC, and that way you'll have a very good idea that how much your aircraft will have no matter fuel left at your destination, which is pretty accurate actually. So here I'm getting my descent forecasts. Load them. Come on, there you are. We got them, and by the it tells me I'll have 16 tons of fuel left at destination, which is pretty awesome. Now I'm gonna make sure that there's no route discontinuity, so I'm gonna go in here. There you are. So we're gonna finish this route discontinuity. I'm gonna make sure everything looks good. Alright, it looks good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna check my CD panels. So open the engine page and check the alt quantity, which is 20-20-21, which is pretty awesome. Then we go in, check the hydraulic quantity, looks good. Hydraulic pressure is good. Temperature is not there because we're not using them really. Crew oxygen pressure is 1820, passengers 1830, good, looks good. Main batteries volt DC is 28, and ampere in DC is 38, which is charging, and same for the AP battery, which is good. Then coming to the electrical, you have the main power supply from 2 external ports. We're not using any AP at the moment, and SSB isn't active yet. So fuel, we have center tank's empty, which is good. So I'll set my fuels accordingly. Pressurization. Looks good. Hydraulic. Now this green line here shows the quantity of the hydraulics, so it's pretty awesome though. So that one's auxiliary, which is on, which gives all the necessary hydraulics required to do whatever is required on the ramp. The doors look good. The gears, tire pressures are fine. The brake temperature is 0. Good. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my MCT to flight level 260. 320 is on this, the heading bar goes to 320. I reckon that my rough estimate says I'll have a speed of about 165 knots V2, which I'll find out later if it's correct or not. I'm going to test my weather
radar display. Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Passenger signs RSN come on. It goes to RTO. We can perform the TCAS test. Gotta get rid of my ground vehicles. So release, 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 release them all.
TCAS test pass.
We can go to maximum. There's the outside. Oh, these Pratt & Whitney engines look pretty awesome, I'd say that. They do look pretty much like General Electrics, but I'm not sure if these are General Electrics. I think these are Pratt & Whitney's. Yeah, these are Pratt & Whitney's, but they look quite similar to the one in the General Electric makes. That's a beautiful livery. It's from 1999 Canadian Airlines. The aircraft registered as Charlie Foxtrot Charlie Romeo Alpha. Not in the service anymore, unfortunately. And since we're firing up the APU, beacon can come on. And also want to make sure all the lights are working. That looks good. That looks good. MCP looks good. That looks good. Cool. We're also making sure that the EIU source selects is auto, FMC's main source is left, heading is normal, landing gear is down, alternate flaps are off. Similarly, alternate nose and wing body gears, alternate gear for extend for nose and body, and the wings are off. Flaps are up. Stab trims are good, auto, and that looks good. You can turn the attendant advisory on. Back test, that's doors, cockpit door test, some sort of door test. Looks pretty awesome. And we are just 1 minute left to land my IRS. Here I want to make sure that all these switches are 12 o'clock, which is how it's supposed to be. Alright, so we are almost getting rid of these fellas. So with respect to my current position, I am at the moment parked at the uniform Delta at come on, don't. Yep. So for runway, you're using runway 3 to left. So for 3 to left, I'll use taxiway all the way down here, and then we'll take taxiway Mike down to Alpha 11. And then from Alpha 11, we'll enter runway 3 to left, and then we will depart. Runway is 3.5 kilometers long, or 11,483 feet in length, which is quite okay. Right, this is done. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna change my flap setting to 20 because runway is pretty short. So V2 comes to 155. L9 and VNAV can kick in. Get rid of the ground power. Right. I'm gonna fire up the engine number 3 and 4 while I'm waiting here. Saves time. Oops. There we go. Make sure the engine's cutout switch cuts out at about N250%. I forgot to turn on my fuel pumps, I'm sorry. Oops. Now we're good. There you go, that looks good. Gonna turn on the rest of the fuel engines. Since we have auto start, we don't need to worry about the N2 to reach a particular percentage to get fired up. We just introduce the fuel right away, and the rest is dealt by the computers. Alright, we can now start pushing back. I'm gonna using Shift key method. Old school method. It's easy peasy, less complicated. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, flaps. Turn on my hydraulics, the auxiliary ones, and the demand and the engine pumps are good. Dispatch coming on. I can turn on a continuous ignition. Taxi lights can come on, and runway turn-off lights can come on. AP can go off. And hit the recall. Looks good. Flaps coming to 20 degrees. Cool. Stop the aircraft here. Do the flight control checks real quickly. Full left, neutral, full right, neutral, full up, neutral, full down, neutral, rudder, full left, neutral, full right, neutral. Alright, that looks good. For the strap trim, we just move the trim up and down and that just goes away. How cool is that? I'm gonna make sure everything else is good too, so buses are working, SSB's tie, fuel looks good, which is balanced. AP is off, duct pressure looks good, outflow valves are auto, and isolation valves are good, and that looks good to me, ladies and gentlemen. We're one step closer to take off. Hydraulic pressure is 3000 psi, quantity is good, temperature is good. Gear is good, doors, I have to arm all of them. So what we can do is go into the doors and arm all the doors. That looks good. Set the altimeter to 997. Press the recall again. Everything is good. Let's get the show rolling. So I'm gonna grab left from here and go all the way. So let's get going. That's better. The temperature today is 1 degree here in Moscow, but since there are no clouds, I don't need my wing and the engine anti-ice, because I don't think that there is enough moisture in the air to cause icing, so we'll leave it alone. I'm gonna turn these background lights on just for when the it's night time. I don't have to worry about turning them on because that night I can't see anything. It's good. Hitting the recall button again. All is well. In the meantime, since we're texting, we can check is that when at our destination, how does our plan look like? So we go here, we go step by step and see how it looks. Does it look terrible or does it not look terrible? Let's see what happens. So we go into the point, which is go to the airport waypoint, which is close to the airport, and go. That looks awful, man. We better fix that. Okay, you know what? Let's do it that way. Doesn't want to go to TFS, so let's see how it looks that way. That looks much better. Yep. And then I can manually take control at this point and make my leg a little bit wider than it is. Or I can go from Conda direct to my arrival. How does that look? Nah, we're good. Yeah, that's good. Oops, we went a little bit further. No problem. As long as we're not on the grass. This, by far, is one of my most favorite aircraft in the real world, and that's one of the reasons why I became a real world pilot. I always loved this aircraft since I was a child. And it has a very special place in my heart. All the way from 747-100 to 747-8. So everybody has their aircraft which they love. Alright, we are approaching close to the runway. We should be oh, for the scenery I'm using the FSX base, and I'm using the Ultimate Realism pack with PTA. And if you guys are interested to know my presets, leave me a comment and I can absolutely do that for you. So, taxi light can come off, landing lights can go on, strobe lights can kick in, making sure there's no aircraft landing here. No, that's alright. Try to make center line maintain the center line, and
on runway 32 left.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, and all set. Landing lights are on. Flaps are set. No recall messages or anything, so tailback. It's a very derated and comfortable takeoff. This must have been a problem taking off. So should be very.
Speed alive.
So I've good amount of run the left of the takeoff. So 3.5 kilometers in length, which is not very long in the flight.
V1.
Rotate.
V2.
Look at that. Oh my god. Absolutely beautiful. This verse stuns me every single time I watch the takeoff. Holy moly, this is beautiful. Look at this smart, beautiful design in the fuselage. Absolutely beautiful.
Gear up.
Alright, turning left, the 15-degree left turn, because that's a climbing turn. You don't want to make a full bashing turn on a climbing. V2 is maintained, not bad. Oops, a little bit of correction. Alright. good, so that's cool. Flaps coming to 5 degrees, 10 degrees, I'm sorry. Nose I'm gonna start pitching up because we are way and well above V2. So it's safe to do so. I like to keep the controls in my hand for as long as possible. It gives you a true sense of flying. If the whole thing is going to be full of autopilot, which of course it does, I'm going to take last tiny bit of takeoff and landing, which gives you a pretty good feel, I guess. So I'll stick my nose at 10 degrees, screw the flight director, it just gives every single tiny detail. At 10 degrees we are going to keep it constant, so the passengers won't feel the uncomfortable run which is going to take place. Oh, flight director is stable. Getting moist. Turn on my nasal eyes and the wing arms. Cool. It's going to be icy real soon. There we go. Oh, by the way, I should have told something. When we turn the flaps to 1 degree, only these two leading edge flaps remain open. They're all the trailing edge, and the slats on the right corner they just retract. The only thing left is the leading edge flaps, the wing root one and the one next to it. That's something which I learned from the FCOM. Flyby view. Beautiful bird. Now this is the part 1 video, and once I reach there, which I'll do after about 8 hours, that's about 2,900 nautical miles, I'll do a video after 10,000 feet. That way you won't get bored. For 8 hours, nobody has time for 8 hours to watch this flight. So I'm gonna reach 10,000, end this video in part 1. We absolutely do the landing part, which I hope will be good. Actually, I want to climb earlier, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a thrust limitation, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to climb real quickly. Look at this beautiful landing in England. It's absolutely beautiful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching 10,000 feet. Landing lights can go off. Continuous ignition will stay on because I have my wing anti-ice. Let me see how much. Alright, it's getting clear. I'm gonna turn off my nasal and the engine wing anti-ice. Continuous ignition can go off, and my landing gear is going on. So recall, everything is good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for hopping in part 1. We will catch you in the second part where I will show you the landing, this flight in Spain. Stay tuned. Hit the thumbs up button if you like it. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you later.